This episode of the Smoking Tire Podcast is brought to you by, as usual, Harry's Razors. I love my Harry's Razors. My favorite thing about shaving with Harry's Razors is when I get out of the shower and I do the Harry's moisturizer on there afterwards, and bam, like an hour later, my skin feels ridiculously soft and nice, and Hannah rubs her hand all over my head, and it's awesome. It's the smoothness. It's the smoothness when you are done. That's what I am about with Harry's Razors. They make their own products. They don't private label some other product. They don't have this stuff made at some like sweatshop somewhere and put their name on it. They bought a factory in Germany. They have over 100 years of blade making experience to ensure the blades are the highest quality. All the products are backed by 100% quality guarantee. Harry's offers their blades at half the price of the leading 5-blade razor, selling directly to you over the internet and saving you money. I know that I saved money when I switched to Harry's Razors. In fact, all of 2017, the entire year, $62. That's how much I spent on blades from Harry's. Granted, I had to spend more on shaving cream because I like the good shaving cream from Harry's too, but it was still less than if I bought all this stuff at the drugstore. Buy a lot. Here's what I'm going to do for you. Ready? Free trial offer from Harry's today, $13 value for free when you sign up, just cover shipping. So you can sign up for a membership thing where they send you stuff every month, or you can buy products as a one-off from Harry's if you like. The free trial set includes a weighted ergonomic razor handle, 5 precision-engineered blades with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade, rich lathering shave gel, and a travel blade cover. And for those of you looking to get that holiday shopping done early, Harry's just released their special edition holiday sets. They make great gifts. Try them out now. To get your free trial set or to browse the holiday gifts, go to harrys.com/tire. That's harrys.com/tire. Free trial offer, harrys.com/tire. How about Forza Motorsport 7? It's here with the most Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Porsches available in any racing game ever made. It's the most comprehensive, beautiful, and authentic racing game out there. Forza Motorsport 7 is available now on Xbox One and Windows 10 PCs. In Forza Motorsport 7, everyone can experience the danger and the beauty of competitive racing at the limit. You can use a controller, you can use a wheel, you can make it arcadey, you can make it video game, or you can make it as close to real as it gets. There's over 700 Forza Vista cars, including those Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Porsches. There are 30 famous circuits. Some of those dream tracks that you wish you could drive in real life, you could do in Forza. Also, there's some, fictional tracks that they made up that are super fun and really cool, and as good as being there in real life, even though they're fictional. Dynamic conditions that change every single time you race. Download the free demo on Xbox One or Windows 10. Hit us up at TST Racing if you race on Xbox Live. And the site to buy is forzamotorsport.net or xbox.com/Forza. Forza Motorsport 7 is the official racing simulator of the Smoking Tire Podcast. Dillon Optics, those sweet sunglasses I'm always wearing. I don't just wear those because they sponsor the show. I wear them because they protect my eyes. I was wearing Dillon Optics before they paid me to, and that's how they started with the sponsorship. I bought a pair, started wearing them. I liked them so much, they were like, hey, maybe you should be our guy, because everyone seems to be understanding that you're rocking these awesome glasses that help protect your eyes when you operate in harsh conditions. Now, I'm not saying I work in coal mines. I drive sports cars mostly for a living. But I'm out in the desert. The sun is so bright here in the desert. My eyes are like really hurting by the end of the day if I forget my sunglasses at home. But with Dillon's, I can be out all day and I can tell my skin will get toasted, but my eyes feel good. And that way I'm not like rubbing my eyes the whole way home. It's so much better. If you go to thesmokingtire.com and hit that link in the description hit the link under the Partners tab for Dillon Optics. I'll send you a free t-shirt if you buy a pair of sunglasses from Dillon as a thank you to the people who support us. Speaking of which, if you go to thesmokingtire.com and hit the merch tab, we got a bunch of t-shirts, we got hats, we got a bunch of stuff over there, fun shirts designed by me, designed by Zack. New stuff going up there all the time at our merch site, and you get there just from thesmokingtire.com. And because our merch is now professionally handled, all those like shipping issues I used to have back in the day, and like if you ordered a shirt and like were upset with our customer service in 2011, 12, 13, or 14, I understand. I hear you. I was trying to do that myself and not good at it. But now we have professionals doing it. Our t-shirts are very high quality. It's that soft, nice, vintage, heathery fabric. The printing is really good. I've washed my Smoking Tire shirts a bunch of times, and they still look great. And the pricing is right, and the shipping is good, and it's all professionally handled. It's great. Looking at now, sir. Guten Tag, hello. Good afternoon. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
What does the two mean?
I was giving a peace
Oh,
sign
Timmy
to
was
the
giving
camera.
a what's up. Oh, that was like, I thought it was like the Wayne's World, like 5,
Right.
4.
I'm not nearly that sophisticated.
No, Wayne's World is
I just say
sophisticated now.
speeding cunt.
That's the cycle. Is
All
that
right.
the cycle of it where like
Yeah.
Canadian like white trash cable network shows are sophisticated?
Well, they both had sleeves on. That's very sophisticated for Canada.
I mean, they did, but didn't Garth have a denim vest
Yeah, that's a vest, which is also formal wear.
in Canada?
Yeah.
It is. Actually, my favorite Wayne's World character, Wayne's World 2, I like Maria Bamford as female Garth.
She played.
Maria
wow.
Bamford
she
is
was very good.
I know. Maria Bamford was the best. Was such a good female Garth that I can't unsee that.
Yeah.
Now I know what a good comic she is, but every time I look at her, I just go female Garth.
Wow. I didn't know it was her. She
Smoking
did a
Tire
great job.
Podcast. We're here.
This is kind of
Indeed.
like Wayne's World. It's
me and Zack.
actually, isn't it?
It is.
Like the podcast is.
it
It
did
is with
start
a
in our
little
house.
less
Wayne's
money.
World-ish.
We don't have a musical intro that's like Smoking Tire, party time. I mean, I could probably play that. I can't play much on guitar, but I can play that.
It did start in our house. They started in their house.
Yeah, although we couldn't have started. They were in a basement. We couldn't be because that's where Thaddeus was living.
True.
Thaddeus's pillow next to that sink. He never had to get out of bed for a glass of water in 3 years.
Genius. It's like he's like living on a boat.
Oh man, we got no guests. I have no guests. We're just here.
I have
It's just
none.
us. Zach and I went for a drive today.
We did a bunch of stuff. We went for a drive. You got a car. You went to Sema.
I bought a car.
You had a
I went
Vegas-y
to I went to
thing.
Sema, and then I left Sema to buy a 911, which is the best thing you could do. I mean, is there a day in terms of like you really want to start at the bottom so you can make it to the top. So by starting at the bottom, you wake up and go to Sema. That's about almost as far down as it goes. And I feel like I am too harsh on Sema, but then I go I'm not too harsh on
Well,
Sema.
you went to a place that has everything
Yeah,
attached to everything.
it's so much
And then you
everything.
left and bought a car that was a bone stock
It's-
vintage 911.
Oh, and it was glorious.
Yeah.
It's so much everything. I do actually want to thank, I mean, the podcast was a bit of a shit show, but I know what Magnaflow and them guys were trying to do, and like I really appreciate them. Like, they funded a lot of guys that are at our level to go to SEMA and record podcasts, and a lot of those guys got to do other things while they're there and whatever. And so, like, we did a fun show. Did a show last week that had like everybody on it.
They had like a stage
Last week,
set up.
yeah, well, last week you weren't there and you haven't heard it yet because I just put it up. But last week it was like all 4 of the Radwood dudes, and then Ferretti, Tommy F, Musto, and Larry, and like Lars Wolf. So it was like everybody
On
was
one
on the
show.
Yeah, I rotated
Oh,
some
okay.
people. I had to kick
Wow.
a few people out of chairs, and like yeah. But I mean, it was a bit of a shit show, but it was a lot of fun. But SEMA's just, it's so fucking overwhelming. It's and what was weird about SEMA this year was that someone brought this up, and I was like, I wasn't sure if I believed it until I thought about it when I went home. There was like nothing new. Like obviously there's like some, some cool builds and people got some weird stuff, you see all different kinds of shit, but like, there wasn't like an it car, this year. It wasn't like, when a new Mustang comes out or a new Camaro comes out or
Right.
the BRZ came out or
What about a jail Wrangler? No new Wrangler.
no one had any new Wranglers yet. I mean, I think the new Wrangler is so new that no one's got them yet.
Yeah, I think the LA Auto Show might be the first.
Right.
First time,
yeah. So I mean, and they're like a little off cycle for SEMA, which is, I mean, there was a lot of Wranglers. I mean, there was every kind of Wrangler you can imagine.
24s.
Well, there was some of that, but not as much as you'd think.
Yeah.
They don't the blingy they. Even the rappers now don't really do the big rims on the. They now try and have these tough looking. You know, Chris Brown drives like a rhino lined Wrangler. Like,
right.
Yeah, like that. Have you seen? Tyrese. God help him. You know, I feel so bad.
Does anyone follow Tyrese's Instagram?
I follow his Instagram, and he is such an idiot. He's like broke. You know, he's got all this shit, and he's just broke, and he's building these Wranglers. These like Voltron motors is the thing. Can you pull up a Voltron Motors Wrangler, Timmy?
I have no idea what it is.
Oh, you have no idea what I'm talking about?
No.
So the thing, you know, with the rappers and that and stuff, it's like Sprinters is a couple of years ago. You know, Tyrese had the stupid Sprinter. Ludacris, I get a Sprinter, but the other thing now is Tyrese is trying to do is Voltron Motors. Oh, it's so sad. Is build these Jeeps, and they are hideous. Ooh. I mean, they're really, really bad.
Well, it's like a Mansory off-road vehicle.
Yeah, that's a good example of fake G-Wagonism, whatever that is.
You know what? It's kind of true, and
the whole front end is fake
I
G-Wagon.
also don't like the G-Wagon design that much.
No, I mean, if you want a G-Wagon, buy a G-Wagon. But there's a couple other ones. There's one where he does a weird, ugly nose with it. Timmy, if you can find the one with the weird, pointy front. Yeah. That basically takes a Wrangler and makes it look like a Polaris side by side.
Yeah,
right.
Stole it. Yeah, took it right out of my mouth
for $100,000.
Yeah, you just built $100,000 truck that looks like a $19,999 finance for 172 months. Yeah. You know, for $40 a month.
I was at SEMA last year, and 3 Jeeps pulled into the hotel valet I was at, and they all had underglow and like wheel glow, and they were super lifted and like all these.
That sounds like Floyd Mayweather, honestly.
But the colors were more like Miami clothing, so it wasn't Floyd Mayweather. He's like black, white, like real simple. It was like this.
The most pointless thing though is low profile mud terrains.
Yeah,
What is that?
Do those have a very stiff sidewall? Probably.
Well, yeah, I mean, the shorter the sidewall, the stiffer it's going to be. But you know, the whole point of that is that you can air it down and get better traction.
You could do some basic off-roading with that, right?
Oh, you could do,
and you could drive that in the snow.
You could do significant off-roading.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, I think we all know that these dudes are not going off-roading these things. And if someone out there, knows of a rapper that is out at Glamis with Dak Shepard every week, please let me know. I would love to hang out with like. If I find out that Migos has a RV with a bunch of Can-Ams in the back of it, and they're actually out at the dunes, like I'd love to find that shit out. But
was it Flavor Flav did World's Most Expensive Shit?
Oh no, 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz.
It's most expensivest shit, and it's one of the greatest programs ever produced by GQ magazine.
It's so good.
You've seen that shit, Timmy, haven't you?
No.
You've never seen 2 Chainz most expensivest shit?
2 Chainz most expensive.
Well, it's great because usually someone.
I don't think we can watch it on the show, but
usually someone who hosts a show like that. Pull the
picture if you can, because he's got like the most, like a gold. He's smoking golden joints.
The water's my favorite.
Well, the water tasting in one segment. yeah, please pull that. They do a water tasting in one segment, and he does it with Diplo, right? And Diplo's rolling his eyes the whole time.
That's what I love. So what I love about it is these two guys have money, so they don't need to suck the dick of the guest and be like, now tell me about this water, Tom, like a newscaster. So they're just like, are you for real?
So that guy is the water sommelier. Pull up the water sommelier.
Most expensivest bowl.
Yeah, please just continue pulling those up. The water sommelier is in Los Angeles, and he does a water tasting, and it's $42 a person with a minimum of 10. And the waters he's using, he has one water that's like kind of expensive. The rest of the waters are like legit. This is Dasani. This is Poland Spring. You know, it's like the rest of the waters you could buy at a 7-Eleven.
But I think I've heard of this class, and he talks about like the chemistry behind it. Whereas when he went on the show, he was like, buy this $10,000 bottle of water, which is a $9,999 bottle.
I'm pretty sure, with water in it. Yeah, it's like it was a diamond cap, right?
You know.
Apparently, I actually know the reason I know it's $42 a head is because I know someone who went to the water tasting.
So do I.
You do?
Yeah.
They said they could taste the difference.
Yeah.
They actually said they said when you do it back to back and he tells you what to look for, you could actually taste
like
it.
a shower in New York feels different than a shower here. Like it's in like hard water versus soft water.
Or like showers in Iceland where it was all sulfury.
Yeah, those just smell
super smelly showers.
Yeah.
How do we? Oh, Jeeps. That's how we got on this. So anyway, the thing with the Jeeps this year at SEMA, like there was that typical, just shove everything on it all that you can. But actually, there was a lot of throwback. A lot of guys putting like steel bodies on JK. Is JK the current?
Yeah, that's the outgoing.
That's the outgoing. Yeah, so like throwback Willys bodies on those, where it would be like a modern powertrain and a modern dashboard and like UI, but then like steelies and like old school bench seats kind of shit. And there was a bunch of them. That was pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
Icon's kind of taking that direction too, right? They did an FJ40 that was more.
Well, they have their what's that series called? Reformer. I think it's called a Reformer.
Yeah,
like they did with the Dodge pickup.
Reformer is where it looks like a stock vehicle, except everything that was plastic is now metal, and it's got a modern powertrain in it. I think that's the Reformer.
This one is something that he's done unique this time.
Yeah,
it's just
for that FJ that he brought to SEMA.
Yeah,
I saw John over there. He was running around like a fucking chicken with his head cut off. Yeah.
If you're look at the material on the back of these pencils. Oh, I'm going to put them on a shift knob. They're amazing.
You know what I really loved? I didn't get to see. I was only there for like 12 hours, so I didn't get to see everything. I was mainly in Central Hall, and I'm sure I missed a lot. So we've got some we can go through some of the best stuff. And that wide body BMW CSL right there is certainly that thing. I saw that walk by that with Corey. That's got a turbo S54 in it. That car is badass. I'm a big fan. And our buddy from Stanceworks, I apologize, who came on the show. Our friend, Jesus, I'm blanking on his name. The Stanceworks guy. Mike, it was Mike something. I think
with the Rusty.
Rusty Slamington. His race car. Remember, he was talking about his race car. Yeah. He put a new vintage livery on it, and it looked just incredible. But that wide body CSL was gangster as fuck. My personal favorite is there's this dude Rob Ida, who I follow on Instagram. Who I think he's out of Pennsylvania, and Timmy, you can pull up this dude's Instagram, Rob_IDA. On his Instagram. So this guy is the foremost Tucker expert in the world. And as a nerd, I love a Tucker. I think Tuckers are weird and crazy. And there, that top left, Timmy, on his Instagram there. This is so I think it's his grandfather worked with Preston Tucker. So he owns the plans and the body bucks.
No way.
So that is not an original Tucker.
Okay.
He made that Tucker on the real body bucks, handmade, blah, blah, blah. It has a twin-turbo North Star engine in the back of it. And the interior looks completely stock and fire as fuck.
Wow.
That was best of SEMA, wasn't it?
Did it? Did it win something? I
think so, yeah.
It should have won something.
Cool.
The dude is a genius. I mean, honestly, it was...
Do you know what chassis is under it? Is it all...
It's a Tucker. They built a fucking Tucker.
Stock Tucker chassis? No.
Well, I think it's a complete tube frame car.
I thought it was like R. Morrison or whatever,
No, Morrison. Why Morrison can't design a whole chassis for a car for which 48 exist globally.
I can hear Craig right now sipping scotch.
You think I can't? You think I can, motherfucker?
Let me reel this fish in. I'm gonna do.
Tim,
it
are there other pictures on Rob Ida's Instagram? You guys should go follow this dude, Rob_Ida. Look at that on the top right there. Is bitch and
what a strange car because the hood is gigantic, but there's nothing in it.
The motor's in the back.
Right.
What's weird is look, this dude is smart as fuck.
Oh, you know what that is? Well, it's like it's a 4-door 911.
So right there, this is another thing he's doing. That one, Tim, pull this picture up. This is for those who can't see. This is a weird torpedo-looking concept, and this is called the Tucker Torpedo. Wow. This would have been Tucker's second car, or like their sports car, had the company survived. Plans existed for the car. But the car never existed, and so he's building
a dashboard
one
in the back.
Well, so if you can, I don't know if you can see it in this image. Can you see that as a 3-seater? It's like a McLaren F1. Yep. It's a 3-seater. Okay, the driver sits in front of the middle. The 2 passengers sit behind on either side.
That's cool.
What you cannot see, and if you go further down his Instagram, you can probably get there's a video of it for sure, and at least pictures. Those 3 seats are on a turntable. And so you can do an on-the-fly driver change where the whole shit just spins. Yeah. Keep scrolling down, Timmy. You will find the turntable demonstration video. It's there. I watched it on his Instagram. There's a video of the turntable being demonstrated. It is so fucking cool.
This is like some crazy
This guy is one of my favorite people to follow on Instagram because there's the motor in the back of that. The plumbing just looks... So what's weird is Tucker's were flat sixes.
Yeah.
This is a North Star V8. I mean, I know it's like a transverse layout, and so you could fit it at the whole powertrain under there probably.
This is a Panamera for 911 purists.
Right.
It's a rear engine.
See, look on the right, Tim. You can see the turntable there, or in the floor, the middle picture here.
That's bonkers.
See the turntable on the floor? That shit is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine sitting next to a cop with cruise control and just going,
dude,
whoop, whoop.
He was driving. What do you mean? You're here. Nope. Officer, nope. He was driving. That's so cool. So
wow.
The twin turbo Tucker. If you keep going down, there is a video. I promise you. It's
look at this.
There it is. That's the mechanism. Is that a video?
No.
But that's with the whole table off it. A seat goes in each of those things, and it fucking spins. And you get in, and it spins you into the driver's position. It's so dope.
It's such a nice looking mechanism too. All that nice welded
aluminum.
aluminum.
You know who this? I mean, it reminds me of Randy Grubb.
Of course.
Obviously, I think those two would get along very well. There it is. The chair mechanism.
Oh, wait,
here's the
video
with chairs on it. Can you play this? Fuck, that's gangster. And the chairs face forward the whole time.
Yeah, that's what we saw. That there was a chain drive that keeps them facing the right way. That is nuts. That is nuts.
Oh my god, it's pretty far down. Rob_Ida's Instagram. I just will plug this. I need to get this dude on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He is a boss, and he builds Porsches and stuff too, like Outlaw 356s. And
so he had these plans, and he's like, "We could do that."
And they wanted to make it. Yeah.
What's funny is if they'd made it back in the day, there probably wouldn't have been laws against it, but right now there's got to be something.
Well, you can make anything you want in a garage in Pennsylvania.
That's true.
I mean,
you can't drive
it. That's unbelievable. That's the kind. That's the best at SEMA when you see things like, wow, look what this person made.
I think that's the thing. If there's no car of the year, and even when there is a car of the year, you're going to get 30 FRSs.
Yeah,
they're all going to be, pretty much the same. Like they're going to be lowered and modified and stretch fenders. But get someone like, what can you do with what exists? Like raw materials and tools that exist.
Yeah,
you can do something more interesting.
Yeah, and first off, SEMA's ultimately is a trade show, so there's a whole lot of it that isn't the flash, the best of SEMA pictures and the awards and stuff, and it's literally like a little, fiberboard meeting room with a depressing table in the middle of it and a bunch of guys who hate their life, selling fucking Chinese tires or screws or radiator caps or whatever. And it's just like when you're coming down in the hotel in the morning and you see these dudes with their SEMA tags on at like 7 a.m. like gambling and drinking, and I'm just like, Jesus.
I mean, there's a lot of people that go there because they need to trade. They need to know, hey, what tires do you have now? I have these. Oh, what are you doing with Shock Tech? That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then, so it's not really about us.
Yeah.
It's just the audience, has come into it and started going, hey, where's the show? And they're like, I'm trying to work here, man. I'm trying to, see what engineering is being done.
But all our friends were there, so that was what made it fun. Rob and Tommy were there, Musto was there, Larry was there, and Chris Hayes was there, and Corey, and I saw Rutledge. Rutledge had a Camry in SEMA. I guess he got some kind of a sponsored build, in partnership with someone. It's like a wide body Camry. It's really funny, and he was running around like crazy. I saw Aaron from Gas Monkey, who's got his own shop now. I think it's called Arclight. And in fact, is it called Arclight in Dallas? Arclight Fabrication? I think that's what it's called. I'm going to fuck it up, but I think that's what it is. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Arclight Fabrication in Dallas?
Yeah.
That's Aaron's new
Kaufman's
shop?
site.
Yeah, Aaron Kaufman.
Arclightfab.com.
Yeah. I'm actually going to Dallas tomorrow, and I'm going to pop in. And go say hello.
Pick up an F100 while you're there.
He's doing all kinds of stuff for F100s. He wants to be the, like Icon is to FJ, he wants to be the F100 guy.
Cool.
Or maybe not Icon, but maybe like TLC, Ward's other company, like the Toyota Land Cruiser. He wants to be that for F100s. So Go to Aaron. He had a line of people, man. He had the Magnaflow booth. You know, they had like signings and shit.
Yeah.
And he had a line of people going all the way around the thing. You know who's a boss?
TV famous.
I mean, you probably could have guessed this. Mario Andretti is a boss, and not just because he was a gangster Formula One driver, and but somebody got sick. He did a signing at the Magnaflow booth, and somebody got sick. Whoever was right after him, and he stuck around and did a double. And he's like, what does he need to do that shit for? You could be like, go fuck yourself. But he stuck around and did an extra hour of signings just because there were people who were going to be disappointed by something. Yeah, cool. Good for him.
Very impressive driving record too, obviously.
Yeah. By the way,
you did all the things.
By the way, he can drive just a little bit. There was a couple of kick-ass Fox bodies at SEMA.
That's great.
A couple. I mean, it's there was
IRSs or.
I didn't get down and lean out. Someone did an 84 pace car with a Coyote swap in it that was really, really nice. It's probably a discredit to them to not plug whoever did it. I can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember. That thing was pretty cool. What the? I'm sorry, my alarm. I should have hit off and not snooze. There was a couple of, you can pull it up. This is like a Decatora drift car carrying truck. There was actually a couple of interesting tow rigs. There was a couple of those matching tow rig and boat combos. Where the boat all tilts up like Super Miami style. Yeah. Display trailer.
It's cool. I think that is a trend of the hauler being a thing. Maybe there won't be a car of the year, but there are definitely other automotive trends that get represented at SEMA. And people are like, oh, the haulers are cool now?
Yeah.
We have one in the back.
Well, actually, okay, I would say there were early RVs, RVs from the 70s, restored and then kind of slammed on bags. There was a few of them. There was definitely a few vans. Sprinters, more there was a lot of expedition style is in now. So a lot of sports
the ZR2
the ZR2s. There were a bunch of ZR2s.
Yeah.
It's people want something that's expedition but that's not as expensive as a sportsmobile.
Yeah.
Sportsmobiles like $120,000 or whatever they are. They're expensive, and so there was a lot of the platform tent that goes on the top with the shower that hangs down, and sort of turn your Tacoma into a sportsmobile for $15,000.
My friend has one of those. He lives in Florida.
Is he about it?
Yeah, he uses it all the time, and it's crazy. The tent's mounted on an upper floor, it lifts off the bed, and then you can store stuff under the bed, and you climb a little ladder and get into your tent platform.
It seems
there's
neat.
a show called Expo West every year.
That's the off-road show?
Yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's just filled with rooftop tents and trailers. And,
the
cool
pop-up thing. My friend has a 4-door Jeep, and he put a pop-up on it, a very well-built one. It was $7,000, but he can now drive it anywhere he wants. He's got water cans mounted inside. He's got this whole setup. You can kind of turn it into a miniature RV that has really good off-road capability.
Yeah. Well, that's what, Cameron Weiss has got his Sprinter.
Yeah.
He's got a 4x4 Sprinter.
That's legit.
It's not
small.
It's not small, but he's doing it himself, and he's I was talking to him, and he was like, it's tough because you get it 90% of the way where it's functional but not necessarily pretty, and then the motivation to do the finish work is super, super hard. He's like, that's what you get with a sportsmobile. It's someone who cares enough to put the shit in, but then also make it look nice. He's like, mine is oh shit, you've got a stove and you've got a this and a closet and a that, and it's but if you look at it, it looks terrible.
Function over form.
Yeah.
What's weird is you see all the Westphalias and everything going up in crazy, crazy prices, and now people are like, why don't we just build new versions?
Yeah.
That
Have Westies calmed down, Tim? Are they still 40 grand?
They're still for
a Synchro with a West.
I think Go Westy actually stopped building new trucks.
Go Westy still refurbs them, and so does Volks Cafe, which I can't remember. They changed their name. They're in Santa Cruz, but a really clean one with Synchro, they can sell for $60,000-$80,000.
I see a lot of them.
Oh, easy, 100 grand even.
It's insane.
$100,000 for a fucking Synchro?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
what a waste.
Some people
for
swap.
And then in Europe, they have the Marco Polo, which is the brand new Metris.
Yeah,
they call it over there, something with a V.
But isn't that a VR6?
You can always find it.
What's that?
You can always find it.
Yeah, right?
Isn't that the that was not funny? That was not good. Isn't that the the front wheel drive based one? It's right?
Yeah,
it's the new van.
The Metris,
the new van.
Yeah, it's not a minivan. It's a mid-size whatever.
I watched that. There was a documentary about the microbus. I think it's just called The Bus or something, or just Bus maybe. I watched it on a plane. it's very happy and and fucking flowers. The best guy. There's a guy who's
I like flowers, man.
There's a guy who's wrote a book called like How to Keep Your Volkswagen Alive for Idiots or something like that. Can you pull up the cover? Is very funny. I think it's called like How to Keep Your call it like how to keep your Volkswagen alive or some shit like that, because it's this guy who wrote this book. It was like one of the perfect Volkswagen character. You know,
it's who you would expect.
It's exactly there's the cover. It's all what's that called?
Oh, the font tells you everything.
The font
you need to
tells
know.
you everything you need to know. How?
There's a lot of words.
I can't read it from
words.
this angle, Tim. I'm sorry. What does that say? How to keep your Volkswagen
how to
alive.
Keep your Volkswagen alive. A manual, step-by-step procedures for the complete idiot.
Yeah.
And incomplete is
I
spelled
think
wrong.
I think for a couple of years that beat the Bible. In the movie they said for a couple of years that outsold the Bible in the 70s.
Like in the world, or in
that they sold more of those than they sold Bibles for a couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, think about how many fucking Volkswagens
Can you
they sold in the
imagine
60s
a meeting
and 70s.
at like the Vatican, and they're like, "How are book sales going?" And like, actually,
well, can you find a picture
We
of
have
the
a
guy who
problem with
wrote
the
that?
Germans.
What's the author's name? Find a picture of him.
Padre Misaria, we're being beaten by a book about the Volkswagen.
Pandorino.
Yes.
He's American. He's a fat American.
Who
He
was
write the
doing
book.
it? Is it the Jews with the Torah? Actually, it is an American who wrote a book about the Volkswagen. Just put the pin drop.
What's the guy's name? No one can find his name. Oh,
John Muir.
John Muir.
John Muir.
Muir.
Like Muir's Woods.
I think we'll get a lot of pictures for John Muir, though.
Really?
Yeah, you'll get a lot. He's like an outdoorsman.
This guy sold more
Made all the
books than the
national parks.
Bible, for fuck's
That's
sake.
amazing.
You're gonna find pictures of him. He'll be the number one
that
result.
would be on my headstone.
Yeah.
That guy.
It probably is.
'Cause no one
I
else
think
has
he's
done
dead,
it.
but it probably
Think,
Probably
you
is on
think
his
Harry
headstone.
Potter beat that at any point?
Do you think on his headstone it's like, "Ha ha, fuck you, God"? No, that's not him. Who is that, John Muir?
That's the guy that.
That's the real one.
Yeah.
Who is he?
There's a lot of national parks and state parks, especially in California, that are named after him.
Trails
Oh, the
and all
Muir
kinds.
Woods.
Trail.
Muir Woods.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was.
Yeah.
I
The
think
country's
he brought.
most famous and influential naturalist.
God damn it.
I
Well, what
think-
about the country's most famous and influential Volkswagen repairman? Can't we get some fucking love for that guy, too? It's just a matter of SEO, really.
Well, if they go to the
Honestly.
John Muir meeting,
The amount of
yearly
time we've spent looking for a picture of this fucking guy. Ugh, fuck it. Who cares?
a lot of Volkswagens.
He looks like Ron Jeremy, the hippie version. That's what I was getting at. He looks like a hippie Ron Jeremy.
Okay, that's like
And
a pair
that
of
was
glasses.
funny to me at the time I began this process of finding that
I
picture.
can understand the book's
It's no longer
interesting.
fucking funny.
He's like, first smoke a J and then take a look at your engine.
Well, I mean, look.
You know, you can first calm down.
You start all repairs by getting high.
Yeah.
And then once you're sufficiently high, you pop your bonnet and check your oil.
I mean, you can fix them very simply. Obviously, take the engine out with one person, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean, the engines are so weak. I've heard some of the synchro vans, they'll swap in a Subi engine, which makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
you know?
Subagon.
Or they put the motor in from like the newer ones, like
Also good.
which
Or
are
diesel.
also whatever the fuck they are. But anything, those Volkswagen motors are horrible. They're horrible. There's nothing redeeming about them at all.
Didn't you have the Combi guy on?
The Combi guy,
And
his
it broke
engine,
down
so he
67
drove
times.
here from like Tierra del Fuego, and he was going to Alaska, and I think between Tierra del Fuego and Los Angeles, granted, not an easy drive, long drive, but what didn't he say? 10 rebuilds.
He'd gone through
10!
6 or 10 engines.
10 fucking rebuilds. Like, at what point do you buy a Dodge Caravan? A Dodge Caravan does not require 10 rebuilds. You know what I mean? You could do that. You could get a Dodge Caravan for $1,000 that will do that drive with oil changes.
You could buy
Or a
an
Toyota Previa.
E350 and then build your own sportsmobile for probably 15.
10 engine rebuilds. What a fucking
I would
depressing.
after 4, I would have just bought 4 donkeys and towed the van.
Turn it into a sleigh.
Yeah, I would have been Santa Claus, like the Santa Claus of angry mechanics.
Do you remember how we changed Ben's life by giving him Tinder?
Yeah.
This dude,
I bet his drive slowed down to Alaska.
he never had to pay for a hotel room in his life. This motherfucker.
Who's
I
Ben?
gave,
Ben is the
combi
coach.
guy.
Oh, okay.
You know, he had like a flip phone, and this dude, so I gave him, I wanted to contribute to his cause, so I gave him like an iPhone 4
And
that was
penicillin.
not hooked up to any, like, there was just like Wi-Fi, you know, you could use it as a Wi-Fi device, whatever.
Right.
And I showed him what Tinder was. And he called me like a couple days later, like, mate, this is the greatest thing. Because this guy with his van and his dog and his fucking tie-dye and his, you know, patchouli, this guy could fuck anybody.
Right.
Anybody. Just take your pick. And his matching dog that jumped 9 feet in the air and caught fucking frisbees.
And his accent.
Yeah, this guy and his imagine what
Matt's
his
getting
Tinder
turned on
profile.
now.
I would fuck him based on his Tinder profile.
He could just roll into any food co-op parking lot,
Right?
And just
Oh,
sit for 10
Jesus,
minutes,
sorry.
and he'd be like, "Oh, I just don't have a place to stay tonight." And he'd be like, "Oh my god,
Oh my god, I need syphilis.
I have this
Ben probably doesn't have syphilis. Probably.
Probably.
I don't think he does.
Not,
if I had to
not
guess.
before he came to LA.
If I yeah, maybe by the time he got to Portland, I don't know. But, what the fuck else is going on? I bought a 911.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like I'm over talking about it. Not over talk. Like I feel like I'm talking about it too much.
Well, you haven't done a podcast since you bought it.
No,
but you've talked about it to people.
I talked to the Radwood guys basically about it because I was leaving from that podcast to go get it.
And
so
one
now
of them
I've
has a
gotten it.
912, right?
Yeah, Brad has a 912 that he's
Right.
dailied for like 2 years, and he's put like 40,000 miles on in like in 2 years, which is gangster.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him. So I hopped a one-way flight to Santa Cruz. My friend Marty, the shaman, met me, and we cabbed it to this dude's house, which was actually like about halfway to your parents' house from the San Jose airport, off of 17,
Yeah.
up in like hippie commune in the
Yeah.
side of the mountain.
/ redneck land, yeah.
It was medium redneck, but it was actually kind of charming.
It's NorCal, right?
It was like Topanga. It was like people who want to live in the woods. Yeah. So I call him. Yeah. Here's the address. Whatever. There'll be a yellow car in the driveway when you get here. That'll help you find it. Cool. He doesn't mention the yellow car is a 71 426 Hemi Cuda with a 4-speed and fucking rally wheels.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, hello.
Wow.
And his name is Bill. I don't want to blow up his spot, but his name is Bill. Couldn't be nicer. He's got the car in the garage with like every light on, so I can really like. And instantly, from the second I pulled up in the cab, I go, "That's nice." Like, Bill couldn't have been nicer. This car was for his wife, okay, and I don't know how much she liked it or not. I didn't meet the woman.
How long has he owned it?
Like 5 years. He's
Okay.
the second owner.
Okay.
And they've owned it like 5 years. The first owner had a really long time. I got a stack of service records like going back to like the 90s, middle 90s. But if I had bought a car for Hannah, a classic car, like that shit would work properly. There wouldn't be any issues with that car. It'd be a get in and turn the key kind of deal. So it had a major service like 3 months ago, and like which was an expensive service. It's got good tires. The brakes, the rotors are a little warped, but they work fine. The car is like mint. I mean, you
really
saw it, and
clean.
it's like mint. 92,000 miles, and Bill is a horrible photographer because the for sale ad pictures were so. It looked like like a little tired and whatever. But the pictures were taken in the worst light
It's
possible.
like a high noon.
Yeah, and turns out like it's actually quite striking, the car. And got in it, drove it into town, went to a hilarious bar in Santa Cruz called the Ocean Club. Something.
There's been a lot of new things since I've
This
left.
ain't new.
Oh, okay.
This place is old as fuck. There's a good picture of it. And then the next day, I took the long way home.
Had you already, when you arrived there, had you bought it?
I already bought it.
Okay.
So Bill was not really great about this. Took the car to Sharky. Sharky did a PPI, and they said, this color's kind of weird, but the car's ace. Like, it's really, really nice. So I just sent the guy money. So I already owned the car
Okay.
and had registration insurance by the time I showed up.
It's
So-
cool when you showed up with all the lights are on, like he's being very forthright. Like,
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
what,
And the car
look
had
at
a
it,
full
walk around.
tank of gas. Like, it was clean. Like, all the stuff was put away neatly. I got 2 covers. I got like one of those ugly leather bras that's never been on the car.
Which air freshener did you get?
I got the vanilla Roma.
Okay.
And then, me and Monty got in the car and drove it 425 miles home the fun way.
Yeah.
And perfectly uneventful and lovely.
So I drove it today, which is the second old Porsche I've driven compared
what'd
to
you think?
Alex's.
Same year, same motor,
Same year. I mean, Alex's was years ago, but it probably does feel stiffer than an old Targa. But steering is so interesting compared to getting right out of my car. And then when I got back in my car, because we went canyoning today.
Your car probably feels overboosted as hell, right?
And it already did, but it felt really overboosted. My turning was all fucked up for like a couple of turns when I got back. My brain was totally messed up. But how was driving that car, yours, on the highway you took? Because it starts out with big sweepers, which it seems easy for, but like the tight stuff is interesting.
So we woke up at like 8 in the morning and went to Verve and got coffee, and it was pissing rain. It was raining really, really hard, and there was big standing puddles of water everywhere. So when the engine's ice cold, the defroster sucks. So the defroster was worthless. Fortunately, the wiper blades were good. Okay. By the time we got coffee and got to that part of the 25, it had mostly dried. What did you ask me about it? How was the steering?
How's the steering feel on big sweepers versus tight stuff?
The car in a third gear sweeper like Angeles Crest today, like most of the roads where I film, it's glorious. I mean, when you're between 90 degrees, of steering for either direction, it's glorious. When you're in that very tight stuff, it's heavy. You have to work.
It's very heavy.
You have to work a little bit. Fortunately, the seats, they don't look like they hug you, but they actually kind of do.
They're very good.
The seats are really good. I mean, that's the most comfortable car I own now. I drove that car 400 miles, and I have no back pain.
Yeah, those very good seats.
For a 30-year-old car is extraordinary.
It's cool when you find a company that made not fixed back, but like simple looking seats with like a fixed headrest. Like my dad's Volvo, the same thing, and they fit really well without being all like super aggressive with 90-degree angles.
Completely. It's a lovely tourer. It's just very, some sections. We took the 25 and we took whatever that other road is that cuts off from the 101 after Santa Maria to go to Santa Barbara, like the 154.
The
154
past the lakes and all that.
All that. Yeah. So I tried to take, and then I got on PCH. Like I took like the
fun
way. I took the good way, and it's quiet and refined, and it the shocks are a little tired, but they did the job.
Gearbox is very nice.
The G50 gearbox
long
is
throws, but you can feel everything.
Very precise. The clutch is easy. I mean, it was honestly, the car is so ace. I got 24 miles a gallon. I can't tell. I haven't run it low enough on fuel yet. I have a feeling that I might have the Enduro fuel tank.
How big is that supposed to be?
100 liters. It's huge.
Compared to what's stock supposed
60.
To be? Oh, wow.
So you can get a big fucking... And that's so they could have a bigger tank in the race cars.
Yeah.
But you can still order that. A new 911 use 2 different size fuel tanks.
Ooh, that's cool.
Either that or like... all of the fuel tank, it shows the top half of the gauge. Like, I'm not really sure. I haven't run it low enough yet to really know. But it does get 24 miles a gallon on the highway, and it does get 20 running around town.
Nice.
It's my most fuel efficient and most comfortable car that I own right now.
And that's what it's supposed to get from the factory too. Because
I
read up the specs. It was 23 highway.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it gets better than 23 highway.
It's 2,800 pounds, 2,866, and then costs like 47 grand.
It doesn't weigh anything, but it's got a really nice door thunk, and it's straight as an arrow. It's cherry.
Super mint.
It's cherry.
It's really crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the AC works. The controls are weird as fuck. The climate controls, and I have to look it up. Like, I can't figure it out.
Really?
So there's like...
It's like an arm button.
So on the dash, there's a fan speed controller. And then there's an indicator that's a blue triangle showing, like an increase in something.
More blue.
It's more blue.
Right. Less
at
blue,
the top.
more blue.
It's more fan and then more blue.
Okay.
And then below that, it shows defroster high, defroster on the windshield, and then defroster on your feet. And it's a lever for each, but I can't tell which lever is for which. And then in between the seats are those 2 red levers that look like flaps on an airplane.
Yeah.
And that is actually how much heat gets blown off the engine into your cabin.
But then
so if you actually want heat, you pull those all the way up.
Oh, weird.
So I don't.
So that just pulls air in. It's not
pulls air off the
core.
catalytic converters into a heater core. And then
there's
if you want those knobs in front of the shifter, those are air conditioning. So in theory, you could have the heat cranked and the air conditioning on and the defroster on all at the same time.
Because it might be separate systems.
They all seem to be separate systems.
Weird. Very,
Does
very
it work
weird.
well? Does the air blow cold? And
The air blow's cool.
yeah,
It will need a charge for sure, but it is functional. The heat cranks. The heat gets real. It's actually, and because it kind of comes up from the floor, it's the windows down, heater on is lovely.
Nice.
That's very nice. The steering wheel's that ugly 4-spoke wheel
Yeah.
that I can't wait to throw in the fucking trash.
Yeah.
But it actually feels pretty good in your hands.
It does.
It's just awful to look at.
I mean, there was no loose spot even on center. Like it's
No,
heavy, a lot of
it's
turns, but-
extremely tight. It's tight
'Cause
steering.
so can we go over the theory of driving 911s fast? It's like you turn early and set it,
So
and then
yeah.
accelerate to stick. Like
Yeah,
that was,
so it's
that was
all
a
about
weird
the
thing.
weight transfer, right? So you brake and it shifts the weight forward,
Mm-hmm.
and then you turn in and lean on the front outside wheel in the braking zone, right? But you kind of the ass is sort of like a pendulum. So you kind of like set it, wait, and then when you feel it set, you like roll into the power and just feed it in, and it just kind of goes. Like, I don't know if there's a better way to explain it than that.
It doesn't transfer too much weight away from the front where then you understeer. Like some cars, if you get on the gas too hard,
Right.
you start understeering.
Right. This doesn't really make enough power to do that.
That's very true.
The turbos probably do, but this car, this is like a 200 horsepower car. It doesn't. You can get with this car on a modern tire. You can get on the power pretty early.
Right, you can get on
and
earlier than a
yeah.
front engine car, right?
Yeah. A
very-
front engine car will plow if you get on too early, or it will just drift.
Yeah.
This car, the 911, you really can't drift it by like kicking it. Like
Yeah.
if you go flat mid, you're not just going to oversteer really. You have to initiate it by like braking and really shifting that weight forward and turning it in harder than you would, and that will swing the back out if you really want to.
Right.
But that's for the brave.
And that's what would, if you do the big version of that, you get in trouble, obviously.
If you do that and then you don't stay in the power
Yeah.
to plant the weight in the back, it will lift and pendulum
come
the
back,
other way,
and
and
then-
then you have a big crash.
Yeah, it's like a hammer.
Yeah, but I mean, with modern tires on these kinds of cars, like they really don't make enough power to
Yeah.
really get you in trouble.
No, it's like 220 horse, 217, something
Yeah.
like nice
You just
and
have to
low.
be careful with your trail braking because they're more. These cars are more sensitive to weight transfer than a traditional front rear drive car. That a front engine rear drive car has a wider forgiveness room because the giant mass of that engine is up front,
Yeah.
where the steering happens, and not in the back where the up-down movement of throttle sensitivity happens.
So you need to trail
Probably
brake.
using the wrong words
You trail
for
brake
all of this.
less.
You trail brake less in a 911 than
Yeah.
you would in other cars.
Yeah, 'cause you need to keep weight back
You
there.
kind of brake straight, turn in hard, set it, and then power hard. Yeah, as opposed to trail braking
All the
to
way,
get
yeah.
that back to rotate. Like you actually don't really want that as much in the 911.
Because especially if you trail brake too long, it seems like just the physics of it. You've got the weight off the back, but
Yeah.
the weight will still go that way.
Yeah.
So as you turn, it's
Yes.
like, oh, I don't have any pressure on the tires, and I want to go toward the
Exactly.
wall.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was a cool experience, and it's very engaging.
It's
I know
very
it's thrown
unique.
around a lot, but it's true.
completely different from any other type of car.
Steering's
but
crazy heavy. Like forearms getting tired very quickly heavy. It was just,
really?
Yeah.
It's not that bad for me. For me, a front engine car without power steering is a disaster. But a rear engine car without power steering is manageable. I mean, don't get me wrong. In parking lots and like parallel parking,
Yeah.
it's definitely heavy. And it's heavy on the road too, but it's between 90 and 90 where you are most of the time.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
I mean, all I'm comparing it to is
your
my M3, which is over
yeah.
boosted.
Your
and
Miata
my
was
918
super over boosted.
is super over boosted.
Your 918 has E-Pass, like I don't know.
The Miata was better than the E46 because it wasn't progressive rack at least, but it's definitely over boosted. But it's cool. So the next step is you lift
Well,
it.
first we drive it. First it's drive. See what breaks, if anything breaks. Hopefully nothing. But and then while I'm driving, I'm in line at Batim's at BBI. So
Wait, what happens there?
at Batim's, it's cams, headers, exhaust, a chip. You actually,
That
it's
is a gear
actually a
chip?
chip. Yeah, you have to put a physical chip in.
Very surprising. I thought it was just like a bag of chips in the back.
Very OG. I think that's that. engine. Yeah, it's basics.
Okay.
Basics. Exhaust. Oh, and a lighter flywheel and clutch.
Cool.
So it's because that Lee's car is an earlier 3-liter, which is a little revier. It's like a little happier. This is a 3.2.
Yeah.
So you get more torque. For me, it was more important to have the later gearbox. The G50 gearbox is a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's nice.
they're expensive. Those gearboxes. They're like 10 grand.
Was the predecessor to break? Is that the problem with the?
No, like the earlier cars, it was called a 915 gearbox. It's really sloppy shifter action, and it grinds third a lot. Like, remember that blue
Yours is
car?
easy.
Remember that blue car I drove, like the beater 911? You edited the video.
Yeah.
That dude who was on the Hooniverse, John, I think was his name.
Yeah.
His car had that 915, and it ground third like every time, and like even. I drove someone else. I've driven a bunch of 911s that have that and they all have sloppy shifter feel. The G50's better.
Feels good.
Yeah, it's tighter.
Feels real good.
So
What
that was
power will you
important.
gain from the engine
Like
stuff?
20, 25. It's not much, but it's just more about making it more free revving and snappy and making it sound a little
Especially
better.
when you're in the dirt, you don't want to like. I mean, if you're trying to slide, you don't want to.
Right.
You need wheel speed now.
Yeah. And modern, you can get a modern clutch and flywheel that isn't going to be grabby and shitty, that'll just be a bit lighter.
You should do a stage rally event with it when it's done.
Well, I
Those
don't
exist.
I don't want to I'm not putting cage in it.
Oh, you need that for stage rally, don't you?
Yeah, you need a full cage. Yeah.
Okay, then you should go practice
We're
on
going
a
to
stage
go in
rally
the desert. We'll play around. That's different.
with sight.
This is going to be a street car. It's going to be a toy, and we'll be able to go play. Like, I want to go to Mammoth and the snow. I want to go out to the desert and fuck around. Like, a rally car is perfect for Los Angeles. I want to, like, not slow down for speed bumps and fucking drive up on the grass and shit. Like, I want to do those kind of fun things, and tour, and go on road trips and, like, go to Pebble Beach and go wherever. Like, the tires that go on this thing are those BFGs that are on the Raptor. And, even though they're off-road tires and not sticky tires, when you think about how much meat you're putting at each corner with the fact that the car only weighs 2,800 pounds, you're still going to have, like, a lot of grip. I mean, remember the Raptor was, like, 0.85 G.
Yeah.
And that was a 6,000-pound truck. This is a fucking 911. I bet you this car will still pull 0.9 Gs on off-road tires.
Well, I mean, you don't need a grip car because you have one.
It's not it's not a go to the racetrack car. And also, like, it's not my perfect ideal street 911 either. That would be like a GT3 or something. This is a car that is a straight, clean, nice basis to do something that's really, really fun.
Yeah. You should take the fun way to Vegas once. The dirt way.
Oh, the dirt way?
Yep.
That would be cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
I'll follow.
Yeah.
Support.
Timmy's freshly painted 4Runner. But I'm super excited about this thing. I'm just going to drive it. So first, but Tim will do that stuff. Then it will go to Lee in Atlanta, and he will do the lift kit, the mud flaps, the bash bar and the skid plates, the light pod, and the interior. So
What do you know what you're doing with the interior?
well, it's a full red leather interior now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep it. It would cost me 20 grand to completely change the color of the interior.
Oh.
I actually kind of like the red. It's not like a terrible, ugly red. It's just red.
It's kind of burgundy and
it's
impeccable.
Merlot red. It's not like
Right.
pumpkin orange or like awful colored. So, we're going to take the seats out and do the buckets, in the matching leather. And we'll the steering wheel will change, and then we'll do a fun pattern, and we'll do new door card centers, with the fun pattern and a new carpet, and that's it. The headliner's mint, sunroof works. There's the things that are pretty mint that like we definitely want to have an overall aesthetic.
Yeah.
The more I look at the car, the more we're likely to keep the color. It's kind of growing on me, and we can wrap it. Anthony really wants to wrap it and do some crazy thing with it. So we can always wrap it and whatever.
Well, the color's cool because it was like the Bisimoto blue, where it's got the silver under it, so you see curve everywhere. Like it's little shadows that are kind of sprinkled in all over the place.
It shifts in different light colors. It's a very interesting color that I thought was heinous, but the more I look at it, the more I actually kind of like it.
It's cool. It's unique.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a color I would go out and seek out. But
100%.
But the fact that I've ended up with it, it's sort of endearing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
it's gonna be fun. Off-road.
Yeah, no,
Off-road
it's gonna be awesome. And you want to Lee send me the rendering? Do you want me to airdrop it to Timmy?
Yeah.
I'll airdrop it to Timmy and we can talk about. I don't. Well, fuck it. It's a rendering. I don't see. Let's airdrop to Timmy. Pull up, motherfucker. Coming at you, buddy.
Having a car you can drive
This is
like that
convenient. I can
gonna be so
airdrop
good.
it into the show. Look at that.
Well, how do I get it on screen?
You got to drag it to the other monitor.
It does not want to
It
go.
should. You have to unfull screen the other monitor. The other monitor is full screen, so it won't let you. Yeah, buddy. Now I full screen that bitch. Boom.
That looks great.
Oh, cool.
So that is what Lee's version of a Cassis red rally car could look like.
This is
I'm gonna keep the whale tail.
yeah, definitely.
The whale tail is dope, and
sure.
I think a lot of the other ones have a duck tail, and so I actually like to keep the whale tail.
Yeah,
Are you
whale
keeping
tails
the
are great.
Fuchs?
So the Fuchs that are on it now are not the original wheels. Actually, the wheels that are on it now are 17s, and in order to do the rally build, we either need the original 16s or a set of original 16s, or we can buy a repro set of 16s, or I can ask HRE to get involved and maybe make me something that's a little more vintage and weird. I kind of like those wheels that Joey had on the Project Nasty. They were like the turbofan style wheels.
Oh, the white
The
rally.
white one.
Those are cool.
I wouldn't do them in white, but
No,
yeah,
no, but I
yeah.
understand. Just make sure that whatever you put on them, know that it will go in mud and dirt. So don't be worried about, like, if you get too nice a wheel, you might go, oh, I don't know if I want to drive this through this puddle and
That's a
the
good
sand.
point. That's
Don't
a good
do
point. Well, it's going to be a 16 on a meaty tire, so
I know.
it's not like I'm going to be worried about curbing them or that kind of stuff. So
No.
I don't know. I'm excited about the car.
Cool.
Everything that they say about these cars is true. I could daily this thing, and it wouldn't be a problem. I mean, it's weird, you know. It's like 30 years old, but like,
Oh, it works
you
and it's
could just-
comfortable. like,
yeah,
you know.
I could just daily it, and it would be fucking great. So.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
Is it break time, Tim? I think it's break time, right?
Yeah, you're at 50.
Yeah, let's take a quick break. We got more questions. I want to talk about Koenigsegg
Yeah.
and their record run. And then I think we have some questions for you guys, and we'll see what direction that sends us after we sell this real estate. Be back. The biggest problem with the color is that I'm colorblind. Right. And so I have no choice but to, like, that's why all my other cars, it's like bright fucking blue or black or silver or bright fucking orange. Like, there's no question about what we're looking at here. When you're the colorblind guy, getting an ambiguously colored anything, it's a really fucking risky move. It's like, who do you trust? Someone's telling you what that shit is. Do you trust them?
Well, because it's like being called special red, and you're
Right.
red green colorblind.
Right. Like, is it special red or is it special red? You don't know.
Right.
You don't know.
Well, it's a red. It's a color based on something you can't see.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
nice little feeling.
Exactly. And then some people are like, oh, pinky! And then it's, you know, we're still talking about this. Shit. Just the color. It's all about the color.
It is.
We're back. We're back. I got to shout out Crown and Caliber, which is an Atlanta-based vintage luxury and collector watch retailer. And they hooked up, look at this. Pull up this camera, Timmy. They hooked up this Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore as a loaner for me for the month of November. Shit's like 15 G's, son. This is real. And you could be like Jay-Z, go, Audemars. Like,
What song's that from?
in a lot of songs, he refers
Okay.
to Audemars. And it makes a, I don't know if you can hear that, but when it winds, it makes a really neat windy.
It has the momentum winding.
Yeah, it's an
That's
automatic,
nice.
but it makes a really neat one. So crownandcaliber.com, they've got like 1,500 watches. They've got a bunch of crazy watches from all the big brands, and they have hooked me up. So thank you, Crown and Caliber. Where are we at, huh?
You see any weird watches at SEMA?
Oh,
People
dude.
flousing?
You know, I hadn't been to Vegas since my watch obsession began. And now I look at everybody's watch. And Vegas, SEMA is like a fucking, you know, like peacocking mode, you know? So everyone has whatever their dopest watch is, that's what everybody's wearing at Vegas. Or in Vegas, at SEMA, whatever. So, I mean, I have a Rolex GMT that they call Batman that I may need to sell immediately or throw in the. Everybody had one. I mean, 1 out of 6 people I met was wearing this fucking thing. And I was like, damn it, like this is cool, but like Jesus, everybody's got one.
But you like it.
I do like it. There's a reason everyone buys them because it's a nice piece of hardware. Rolexes and 911s. There's really a lot of parallels between the two, where it's like a possibly overvalued, still somewhat common good that people shit on a lot, but the people that use them in their everyday life, they're just like, no, this is just like a tough, well-made thing, you know. And I think Rolex is the same way. Where you can beat the shit out of a Rolex.
If you go to the Ferrari club with your Ferrari, you don't feel special for that day,
right?
But
or it's like having
an
this
awesome
Pearl
thing.
Jam tattoo. Like, believe you me, I wear long sleeves to Pearl Jam concerts.
Oh, really?
Oh, I don't.
Everybody has that?
Everybody's got this
On that
tattoo.
spot?
No, not on that spot. And I, in fairness, have modified mine slightly. I added the pennants. Those aren't original.
Oh, okay. What teams are the pennants?
They're not pennants. It says Love and Trust,
Okay.
like State of Love and Trust, the Pearl Jam song. But the guy, a live stick man holding pennants is my modifier for that. But I cover that shit up at the Pearl Jam show.
You're going to wear the shirt of the band you're going to see when you see the band?
So go back to watches at Sema, yeah. The Rolex Submariner and GMT was everywhere. There was a bunch of APs, like the basic silver ones. Generally, like the guys who were trying to be super flashy would be rocking, and Panerais. Like everyone has Panerais now. They're very popular as well. So those are the big watches to see in Vegas. Is like your standard issue Rolex sport watches, Panerais, APs, and a lot of Seikos. A lot of car guys that don't have millions of dollars buy Seikos, and that's because like
That's true.
they're like the Lexuses, you know, this
Yeah.
Toyota Supra, Lexus of watches. I got a plug.
Reliable, well built, all that stuff.
Yeah, look at this.
Kinda
This
like
shit
that.
is gangster. I just got an invite. I'll brag about this shit on the show. In my man purse, I got an invite to the opening. Give me this camera, Tim. Of the Grand Seiko store in Los Angeles. My presence is requested, where they will be having canapes and cocktails by Chef Nobu.
They'll give you free food and hope you buy something.
And yeah, well, I told you the guy emailed me and asked if I would like to pre-buy something to wear to the event.
Wow.
A little presumptuous, I think.
But I bet someone said yes.
I may buy something for Hannah. Hannah needs a real watch. I got her like that vintage Seiko.
Yeah.
The second hand fell off it. It's 40 years
man,
old.
that
I
sucks.
mean, these things weren't really made to last.
Can you buy new
back then.
hands? Like,
I can get it fixed,
Okay.
but like it's a vintage watch like that isn't really an everyday wearer kind of thing. It's not really tough enough to get smacked into something.
over time, that thin metal just going to
You
be
just break some shit right off.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's nice. It's a cool little piece, this vintage Seiko I got her, but like I think she needs to. I get her something nice. We'll see. Hopefully they have something good.
Get her like a.
If they feed me enough Centauri whiskey. Yeah, I'll get her like one of them in Germany. Yo, pull up a picture, Tim, of U-boat watches. In Italy, we went. There's a place called the Ponte Vecchio in Florence, which is a bridge over the Arno River.
All
and
shopping.
all watches. The
Yeah,
whole
it's
bridge
like
is watch
jewelry
stores.
and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and these U-boat watches, they're 50 plus millimeters. These fucking things.
Where'd that just go? Oh, that's a Hublot.
That's a Hublot. U-boat, not Hublot.
Yeah, but
U-boat.
$220,000.
Oh, for sure. It looked like the Cobra Kai
Tim,
insignia.
don't get distracted by the $200,000 watches. Do the thing.
Tim, you have
first.
enough of these. Okay.
Yeah, the U-boat watch is it's like they're so fucking huge. It's like this supercharger pulley.
Like it overhangs on your wrist.
Like it's like that.
Yeah, that's.
if you look at this, look at the size of that thing.
If my friend ever had one of those, I would just wear a shirt next to him saying, "I have money."
You have to be they're not actually that expensive. You have to be like a massive juice head to wear one though.
You have to be proportion.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, like Brock Lesnar, would wear.
He can wear anything. He has a sword on his chest that looks like a dick.
Right.
Like anything besides that is a step in restraint. Yeah, he could wear.
Does he actually have a sword in his chest? It looks like a dick.
He has a sword on his chest that goes down, and it's got the big crossbar here, and it's like this. And when he showed up with it, all the UFC forums were like, "Why does he have a cock tattooed on his chest?" I mean,
I don't know what's funnier.
He's gigantic.
Did you read
and he's
the
a good
UFC
fighter.
forum?
My friend read him in college,
Oh,
so that's why I did not.
Okay.
I know where they go to talk about stuff, but I don't care. Pull it up. Pull up Brock Lesnar's chest tattoo.
Brock Lesnar chest tattoo?
Yeah.
Thanks. I have to see what this sword cock looks like.
It's a bold move.
I think we may have to get Timmy some typing lessons. Oh my God, it looks like a dick. Wait, that's not a great. You can see more. Oh, here, go a couple of pictures over, where you can see more of the in the middle there. Yeah, it's not good.
That's a.
Is that a doll?
That's
doll,
a doll.
yeah.
It's a figurine.
Oh, there we go.
It's
It's
like
not good.
it's like a brass knuckles giant knife, and it's
not good.
it's making love to his pecs.
It's not.
What's wrong with my typing?
It was slow as fuck.
Did you see anything crazy at SEMA?
Crazy. Well, yeah. So there was a car with a radial engine in it,
Oh yeah,
like a
which
Cessna
looks awesome.
engine. It looks awesome. I'm not sure it drives. I mean, someone told me that they saw it drive, but I don't know. I don't know for sure that it drives.
Someone said it was on Leno's show. So
Did he drive it?
Maybe I don't know. Someone I saw it in the comments on your Instagram. They're like, "Oh, it was on Leno's show. It overheats really quick."
Yeah, I can't. We definitely can't pull up a Leno show clip on this show and play it. I pulled up a clip. We got flagged by a clip I showed at a few podcasts back with me and Larry. When me and Larry got pulled over by the cops on one lap, I brought that clip in.
I remember.
Turns out that was in an episode of Drive Clean that is owned by Time Inc. And they flagged it. I mean, I'm sure the system automatically flagged it.
Okay, that's
I don't
kinda
think
funny.
there's a malicious person over there who
No,
gives
it's
a
all
shit.
automatic.
But I don't think we can show Leno show clips, unfortunately. But someone can tell me if it actually does drive under its own power. I know it runs, but I don't know if it
actually
drives.
moves forward.
It was fucking crazy looking. It was right next to the thing. It has a giant. I don't know.
It's
just
it's
Google
amazing looking.
Sema radial engine.
It's very.
And you'll get a picture of it. It's like a pickup truck of some kind. I couldn't.
Someone commented it was made for
that.
Bonneville,
Here,
which is bonkers.
If there's a picture to the left, the one to the left of that, Tim, has the. That's it. Yeah, get that picture, Biggie. That's the one. So that is some kind of pickup truck. Zach, look at that. Some kind of pickup truck. And, only the bottom half of the engine really fits in the thing.
So many rivets.
A lot of rivets.
It's
Looks
a plane.
good.
I mean, it's a plane with wheels. It's cool.
It looks cool, but what is that? Is that engine attached to something? I mean, I don't know.
I hope so.
And that would be cool. I like the banner behind it that just says "Whatever you drive." So that was really neat.
That's very rad.
Like I said, a couple of slammed out RVs, RVs slammed on bags. That's kind of cool. I can get behind that.
Industrial strength bags, I guess. Those things
Yeah, like the kind of bags you'd slam a Super Duty truck on, and these are smaller-ish Winnebagos. They're not giant Prevost coaches laying frame, little old Winnebagos.
Okay, it's kind of a weird. I mean, it's kind of a weird idea because you park your RV in your campground and then slam it, and you're like, now I look awesome, but you're like, there's no one else around you that cares. If you take an RV to where it's meant to be, no one there gives a shit.
It's SEMA, and you're debating why with me on SEMA. I just showed you a picture of a radial aircraft engine.
That makes more sense to me. Where
does the practical use of that?
If they're taking it to land speed event, that's the only place.
Timmy defaults back to fucking Broncos on the internet. Look at him.
It's a 4-door.
Is that a 4-door Bronco?
First gen.
Wow, pull that up. That's cool as shit. Who built that?
It doesn't exist.
There was another car there that doesn't exist. There was a 4-door 1970 Challenger someone made. Musto called it heinous. I thought it looked. I mean, this is to Bronco. That was to 4-door.
Well, you can't ruin the lines on
vintage
this because
Challenger.
it's a rectangle. So
That's okay. Well, let's pull it up. Tim, 4-door 1970 Challenger from SEMA.
The Bronco is
sedan.
cheese pizza, and you just have more cheese pizza.
You know what was really funny? Speaking of cheese pizza and more fucking cheese pizza, is a couple of people clearly have been using the same SEMA car for years. There's in some of the wheels section, there's a 2010 Camaro. You know, it's like orange on orange 26s, and it's just like, guys, guys, and you know, it's like a full fiberglassed out interior, and it's like just the shit that people were doing forever ago. You couldn't find it?
Michael Hines put a photo up. There was a guy that had
maybe it's a Cuda 4-door. It might have been a Cuda. I'm sorry.
This guy had a red Mustang, and he had sponsors down the side like everybody does, but he had a Bassani sticker, who I think Hines is working with now. And
that's it. Top left.
Mike leaned down. This guy had quad-tip exhaust going into a fake single-tip exhaust system that was all rusted and old. So the guy just has 4 tips, 2 of which are fake, that are welded up to a whatever exhaust. And he said last year he had a Borla sticker on there. So so speaking of reusing a car that's not even sponsored by the exhaust companies, and he's just going around like, oh yeah, it's got this on there, but it's something he made.
And no one's checking.
No one's checking.
no
but
one
Mike
cares.
leaned down and was like, that's not even 4 exhaust tips. It's ridiculous.
So that right
doesn't
there,
look
pull that up.
very good.
That's the 4-door. I guess it's a Cuda.
That doesn't look very good.
You know what? I mean, it doesn't look bad.
I need to see a profile, but I think what I don't like is, you know, where the hip comes up on the window line in the back, but now you've got this door handle that's in line with the front door handle.
Okay, maybe
like
you'd have to like top mount the back door handle like they do on a Viper.
Yeah,
you know, where it's up on top.
You have to do that, and then the B pillar doesn't help. Like, you know,
it's not that bad.
I'd have to see it more in person.
Is there another? Is there another picture now that we know
or,
it's a Cuda?
or the profile? If there's a profile shot,
someone there. I mean, there was a lot of people taking pictures of this thing at SEMA.
A lot
how
of
about
people
that?
take pictures of car
How about
accidents, and you know.
Is that better? That's a better picture. You're making a face. Is it really that bad? Is my sense of aesthetic that far off?
Suicide the doors and get rid of the B pillar.
Oh, I don't even know what that takes. Oh, though, but didn't you mention that when we were into Classic Car Club for the Drive launch party in New York, I had never actually sat in a 63 Lincoln Continental convertible. Mm-hmm. Me and Patrick George, I was like, Patrick, get up in this thing. Me and Patrick George sat in the back seat of that car. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sense about a 63 Continental. So much rear seat room and the suicide door with a convertible. Oh, that was glorious. That made a lot of sense.
Big cars have a lot of space. They were never short on space. Like
some of those cars, some of those like the personal luxury coupes of the mid 70s would be like huge and then have like no leg room in the rear seat.
That's true.
You know, and they'd have a trunk that could fit a fucking swimming pool.
But like the 60s sedans and even some of the coupes
stuff,
were basically sedans, but they had a good amount of space.
They were big.
Yeah.
I'm shocked at the amount of space in this little 911, actually. Between the shelf behind the seats.
You fit the case in there. That was good.
I did. I fit the one-take case in there. Mm-hmm. And, you know, me and Monty didn't even have to put anything in the trunk. We put our bags behind the seats for the road trip, and it was completely fine. Very practical. You want to pull that back up? Take Koenigsegg.
Oh right, yeah. People were
congratulations, CVK. What's the actual number there? What's
284. I think
that was the top.
That's a two-way. Is this one way?
That's one way.
What was the
two-way average? Was like 277 something.
So Koenigsegg is now the fastest car.
Yeah.
A Gara RS, which I think to be production they had to make 25 of these things. I think they made 25, or they're going to make 25.
They're going to. Oh yeah,
they
sell cars. People like their stuff.
Yeah, I think Koenigsegg.
Okay.
I think So we've got the video here. Full screen, Timmy. Full screen that
with Guinness. They did two-way average.
Tim, full screen on the video. So you have to do a two-way average. Yeah. So this is Highway 160 in Nevada, which actually Zack and I know very well. It's the road that connects Vegas to Pahrump, where Spring Mountain is.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why it's so perfect.
Yeah, and it's super. It's like I think this is an 11-mile straightaway. And are you getting sound in the episode too?
Yeah.
So he short shifts and just basically cruises until about 190 miles an hour, and then goes full throttle.
What a crazy.
So the speedometer has 140 for those just listening. Here's 150, and here's 160.
He's slowly going up.
There's 170,
which is faster than most
80, and now he's going 190, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240 now, 250. Holy shit, 260,
That pulls
70.
so hard.
2. Oh, he bailed out.
One run he did 284.
This,
and the other
what
one
run
he
is
did,
this?
like,
Is this the whole
269.
video, Tim? He only.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Oh, that's part 1.
I think the second pass is
Oh, this is a complete length video. So that was the first pass. That is crazy
That thing,
fast.
that pulls from
That thing
2
is so out.
to 260 more fast than my car would go from like 80 to 120.
Yeah,
it's just
like,
going ding,
what-
ding, ding.
That car pulls from 200.
So here's run 2. He's
Like,
at 2,
oh, the run 2, they conviently just started at 200.
No,
That's
I
nice.
skipped. I
Oh, you
skipped.
did? Oh, thank you. You're learning to produce.
250.
Slow.
240, 50, 60. Good God. And it looks very stable. 270.
It does.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Wow.
8, 9, 280. Good God. 281. 2.
Look at the stripes.
But look how long he's sitting at
He
280.
sat 284. He just sits at it. He sat at 284 for about 3 seconds.
That's one thing Dan Neal said
So
was the best
crazy.
experience of driving the Veyron at VW's loop is the acceleration you're kind of prepared for, even though it's violent and high. But what you're not used to is sitting at a speed like that
Yeah.
for extended amounts of time.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
very cool.
284 one way. That's batshit.
On that road that we've been on, where
Yeah.
you get a ticket for doing 60 miles an hour sometimes.
I've definitely done 150 on that road a bunch of times.
That's that road didn't exist when the SSC did it. I don't think. That seems like a very
I don't know
new
where
highway.
the SSC did it. Is that 93? Probably Silver State Classic
Maybe,
Road.
which is not flat and perfect enough for 270 miles an hour.
Yeah, it is. They run the Silver State on that shit.
I don't know. I think they hold it longer for this.
I think
I know there's
there
gotta
are
been a stock
cars
car
that do
there.
a sustained 250 in the Silver State.
I guess it's just narrower. I mean, it's.
I mean, look,
That's
I'm
right.
not.
It's a lane each way. That's
I
true.
think those roads would be equally, maybe this is a
Maybe.
little smoother. This might be newer pavement. I mean,
Okay.
That road is great.
Yes, the road is great, and I remember watching the video of the SSC, and it just seemed like it was moving more. But that could also be the car. It could be the
I
arrow.
don't remember where they
I don't
did
know.
it. Yeah, I mean, I gotta think Koenigsegg is more stable.
It's just funny
than the
that
SSC.
Volkswagen built this giant loop for.
No,
I
we
mean,
don't need to track. Fuck you.
we don't need your check. Yeah.
That's crazy though. I mean, 1,350 horsepower. I think is that.
And they were on like
RS.
Pilot Sport 2s, I
Yeah.
think. So,
Yeah.
So they always say tires are the limit. Do we think
Dude,
300?
Volkswagen, the thing about Volkswagen is they are owned partially by the German government or by the state. I think the state is Wolfsburg that they're in. I think they're partially owned, 20% owned by them. So imagine the kind of, opening they have by selling someone a car that can go that fast and what the state's lawyers, TÜV, like the German highway system.
Right.
That just made me buy a new Audi S7 wheel because I curbed it. They made me buy a new wheel. They wouldn't
wow.
repair the wheel.
Wow.
So that kind of person is now going to sell you a car that'll do 260. They're taking every fucking precaution.
Right.
And someone who wants it will jump through the hoops and pay for the privilege of it.
And in this case, Koenigsegg is like they have their track out front. So they're like, well, let's see what these tires do
Yeah.
here. They seem fine.
Yeah. I mean, odds are a Sport Cup 2 will last 10 seconds at that speed. I'm sure.
That's
I
insane.
don't know. It did.
Yeah, it did.
It did.
And if that hit 284, because obviously Hennessey did their press release of 300.
Fuck
like,
me, 300.
if the car is
God.
slippery and if it makes more power, that's how land speed happens. Like it
Yeah,
should
I mean,
work.
that F5 thing. Can you pull
Yeah.
up the Hennessey Venom
Which
F5?
is it's very
Tim?
good looking.
I saw it at Sema.
Really?
Yeah, it is a model. It is not a real car right now.
Figured.
Which is the yellow. That's a good picture. It's very pretty actually. Quite a good looking car. Designed completely function. That car looks like it looks because it has to look like that to do the one thing it's supposed to do.
Right.
There is literally, John Hennessey told me, there's nothing about the design of that car that is styling choice. That is chosen by what is needed aerodynamically and to get air into the engine.
Well, and function looks good.
Yeah, I mean,
Function I think it
how
looks
about
great.
that? It looks derivative. It looks there. You could pick apart elements of other cars from there, but
Totally.
like, You know what? It could also be ugly, and it's not ugly.
Right. Gumpert Apollo. I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Old one.
Although that new Gumpert thing looks, or the new Apollo,
That
whatever.
looks like F-Zero. If it was 28,
Congratulations, you have built an actual video game car.
the Fifth Element is driving this car.
So the Venom F5,
It's called the Apollo IE.
yeah, the other thing is called the Apollo. Yeah. Where's the Apollo I? Is there a real picture of it?
Yeah, there's like press release photos of it.
I would take the word Gumpert out of that, Tim.
That's it. Second from the right, next to the blue car.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's it. So that actually looks like a legit fucking video game car. I mean, there's that reminds me of that Praga thing that I drove, just like scaled up to
or
being
like the Mazda Mirai,
the
like
Furai.
concept back.
Yeah,
the Furai.
that looked cool. I was so sad when that concept burned to the ground. So the Venom F5, John is he's very determined. You know, he wants to make this thing go fucking 300. Not sure I want to try 300 in it, but I would absolutely love to have a drive. And he said I can.
200 in.
He said I can have a go when there is a car to drive. He also said when the first two he built are already sold and they're already gone. But the 6x6, have you seen that? Tim, this is up your alley. Give us a Raptor.
6x6.
Do you have a Raptor 6x6? So, Mercedes couldn't build and sell enough of those things. So John built a 6x6 Raptor, and there it is. It's hilarious. It's exactly what you think. It has an extra rear axle, and it is 6-wheel drive. It is functional.
More wheels and power make everything better.
Yeah, I think it makes 600 horsepower.
That's a rendering, obviously, because
That's actually what it looks like.
I believe that, but look behind the rear wheels. It's just like
it's just
gray.
bullshit. Oh, go back and find a real picture, Tim. There were two of these at Sema. One was black.
Real fast. Someone asked if we think that stretch of highway will be used more for those kinds of tests, and it's like that depends on the car company. Like you said, Mazda's probably not going to do high-speed testing there versus a proving grounds because it's maybe doesn't have as much runoff or is safe. But if you're a small manufacturer that has a driver willing to do it, you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't think. Oh, is that too small? I don't think. I think they had to close that road for like a few hours.
You don't say.
They closed it up. No, for
I believe that.
bunch,
of course.
So I think if people start doing it, that's a good picture. If people start doing it all the time, it'll become a problem.
Yeah.
Because it's not like that's a road that's completely in the middle of nowhere. I mean, that's a pretty well traveled road.
Yeah. It connects people. It's 40 minutes from Pahrump to
it's like
Vegas.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it. So the 6x6 is fucking
Nuts.
that's
Oh my
fucking
God.
cool, man. John's a crazy motherfucker sometimes. That shit is cool as hell. I'm about that. I'd love to have a go in
That's
that thing.
funny.
Looks like great fun.
The one we filmed for Drive years ago was real fun. That supercharged Raptor in the mud.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was good.
People,
And dirty.
people talk about mad shit about him, and maybe there is some truth to it. I haven't been through their finances, but I'll tell you what, they build some crazy shit. It
And it
tends
works.
to, tends
Does
to
work.
work. It tends to work.
Yeah.
That truck, pull that picture up. That's a great truck. That picture really is is what it's. How long is the fucking
So
bed?
weird.
Like 10 feet. This bed.
I mean-
What do you put in the bed to make that actually like a dining room table?
Oh, you put like a regular Raptor in the bed. when the 6x6 came out from Mercedes, I was like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. And then they sold
So many.
a bunch of them, more than they ever expected to
Yeah.
sell. And I was like, well, I guess I'm wrong, and this will probably sell too. Because
He'll sell as many as he
know,
can build.
yeah.
I think this is like $250,000 or some shit. It's a crazy amount of money.
so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And just
Have you seen the guy up
pure,
in?
why not?
Have you seen the guy in Malibu who's got the Raptor SUV thing they made before?
I've seen it around.
The white one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
looks
that was
good.
the founder of Oakley. That's his
right.
truck.
That's got a good shape.
Yeah, I saw him at the golf course. And it was the whitest thing.
That is, yeah. And
The
a
one
unsurprising
time I
location
played.
for
Yeah,
him.
when I took the NSX to play golf, which was actually a nice course. Forgot what it's called. Rancho.
See, we played up there with the vet long ago, right?
No, they closed that
Repeat?
course.
Oh.
They closed the one in Malibu. This one is like out in the middle of nowhere by like past where Corey lives, but it was a good course. It was fun. What else we need to talk about here? Sema, Koenigsegg, that shit is crazy.
Can you talk about the YouTuber challenge? Have you talked
I
about that?
already
Did
talked
you?
about it a bunch
Okay.
on the last show.
All right.
Sorry,
Oh,
you
because you had
missed.
Freddie on there.
You missed it.
I know.
You missed it. But we had Ferretti and Tommy Fia. Tommy Farrell. I love that guy. He's a gangster.
I don't know who that is.
Tommy Fia is a YouTuber who He just got going. He's only got like, I don't know, 85 or 90,000 subscribers. But he's just a funny dude who busts his ass. He lives up near Lime Rock. Like he used to work at Lime Rock. And he's got like 4 project cars going at once. And he just does like daily videos about working on those cars.
It's kind of like one of the guys that came down with the 350Z with Freddie. What's his face?
I don't know. The 3
Bees for Build.
Oh, yeah. Except this dude, I think, is not as ghetto. His build, like Bees for Build, he prides himself on like some fairly shanty,
weird things.
Weird shit. Like Tommy's more interested in building like performance type stuff. But he brought the Skyline to the YouTuber challenge that was totaled. It was a totaled Skyline.
Oh wow!
That made 485 at the wheels, and it was fast as fuck.
That's awesome. That's it. Salvage Skyline is kind of a good idea.
Yeah,
for a good
he
track
crashed
car.
it and bought it back from the auction for like nothing.
And he's got he had it crashed it.
He had it crashed it, bought it back from the auction for nothing, and then has another Skyline that's like clean that he's building after taking all the shit. He's going to take everything out of this car and put it into a cleaner one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's
good.
cool.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
He was a very fun. He was a good dude. People should go check his shit out I'm not into like wrenching. Like I'll hang out with this dude anytime. If he's in LA, he can fucking stay at my house and come on the podcast. He's in our club as far as I'm concerned. And if you're into build videos, I would definitely check him out. 'Cause he's
Nice.
Tommy F. Yeah. YouTube.
So people asked if you have any plans for the Fox body now that the challenge is done. Like
Drive it.
Cylinder heads, master cylinder, anything like that.
God, everyone thinks because you don't win a race. If I added 75 wheel horsepower to that car, the outcome of the race would not have changed.
Really?
I mean, they had me. The winners was like 1.5 seconds. Like I don't think 75 horsepower is getting me 1.5 seconds.
Very, very tight.
It might maybe have gotten me into second place. It wouldn't have gotten me around Rob's car. Rob's car is just fast.
Yeah.
C5 Corvette. It even wasn't running right, and it's still fast.
And it's an iron block, so it's still heavy up front, right?
I mean, yeah, but it's
not that
still
much.
heavy for that. Is still, he had aero.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a lot more horsepower. His car's real fast.
Wow.
My car's fun. My car's a fast street car.
Keep
My
it fun and
car's
it works.
It works, and like we're gonna do this Porsche thing, and then like we're gonna drive the Mustang, and then maybe once the Porsche's done, then we can talk about. I did find a complete GT350 drivetrain on eBay for $17,000. Complete. Well, I mean, it didn't have like wheels and shit on it, but it was like motor, trans, diff, engine harness.
How is that possible?
Came out of a crashed car, or a flooded car.
That seems
or
like
something.
such an amazing deal.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It seems.
I mean,
I hope that's not
if
a
that
scam.
exists
That's
now,
fantastic.
that will exist later.
That
and
would
we
be
can
incredible.
figure that out. I mean,
'Cause you
imagine my car with a fucking voodoo motor in it. Woo!
Well, something that was fun watching all the rally car videos that you do with the Campion collection. They talk about slow cars fast. Like you can use all the pedal, you get the feeling of flooring a vehicle and sitting in the revs, which you with your current engine you get.
Yeah.
But if you went to something crazy, now
That's
you have
true.
to be real gentle all the time, and you're
That's
using
true.
the third throttle
I mean,
around
you
town.
can make my car oversteer with the power it's got.
That's all you need. You need that.
Like,
you just need a little.
did you see
enough.
that? Did you see the video? It's the car hustles on the track.
I watched
it's
it.
really, really nice. The balance is super good, and it takes curbings really well. And I mean, for a car that fucking makes 270 at the wheels, and it's a 30-year-old Mustang, I ran faster in it than I ran in a 2014 GT3. Granted, fairness, it was Dream Racing's GT3, so it was a little tired. And also, for Dream Racing customer safety purposes, wow, I didn't realize that shot was so fucked. How about now? For Dream Racing customer safety purposes, they put P0s on it, regular P0s, not cups or Trofeos or whatever. And I have cups on the Mustang.
Okay.
So, fairness,
True.
GT3 is a little under-tired for that specific task. But still, my car was faster, and my car's 30 years old and shitty. It's not a brand new.
275 wheel is not a slouch. I mean, that's good
not that
crank
bad.
horsepower.
It's
It's
okay.
got a lot of torque, and puts it down. And
Yeah, it was
a
fun.
High momentum
Justin
car.
said it was fun to drive. The car works properly. Like I'm just gonna drive it.
Yeah, I think it's good.
It's good to drive.
People ask what our thoughts are on mid-engine Corvette spy shots.
None.
It'll probably happen finally.
I mean, I've heard possibly Detroit Auto Show in January.
Probably will, they have to keep up. So that,
I mean,
all right, fine.
at
And
a
it'll be
certain point
good.
they're gonna have to.
Yeah. But they've won a lot of Le Mans races with the front engine layout, and it's been very impressive.
Yeah.
Here's the most random question possibly, I'm going to say of the quarter.
Of the quarter.
Will you be heading to Britain? And if so, will you be making a trip to Scotland?
Sorry, no. I don't have any Scottish plans.
Hey, are you
Is
going to
that
this
the
country,
mid-engine Corvette
which is next
spy
to this
shot? Is
other
that
country?
recent?
I think so.
Does that have a date on it?
Looks recent. October 12th.
Oh, so it's from 2 weeks ago? I mean,
And the back looks
I
weird.
think it looks like a mid-engine car.
Or it'd be so funny if GM was so good at trolling everybody and they're like, let's make our test mule look mid-engine. It's
Yeah.
not, but let's
The front engine thing isn't. I mean, I'm interested to see what it'll be like.
that hood looks very shorter and rounder than outgoing Corvettes, so that makes it look mid-engine to me as well.
Oh, that's definitely a mid-engine car.
Yeah.
That is not a front-engine car in that picture. For sure, that's a mid-engine car. It's really just going to be like, can they build it properly? You know what I mean? Like, will the build quality be super, super good?
Well-
Like with the C7 Corvettes,
Yeah.
the early hand-built press cars I drove were like awesome. And then the ones that we got like later were sort of like, And then I've seen another couple like people's personal cars at various places, and I've been like, oh, Jesus.
Really?
Panel gaps and just stuff like that. And I mean, I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but I just have a feeling that the cars that where they really want people to be like, look, they've improved the quality so much. I feel like that may not be an accurate representation of what the customer might be getting in that.
Like the finishing work on the ones that go to what is essentially
Yeah,
advertising.
yeah,
market,
yeah,
like
I
Ferrari
mean-
with the cheater cars back in the day.
Yeah. I think, first off, I think probably every company out there gives hand-picked, possibly warmed over cars to journalists. I'm not saying only GM does that, but I just think I don't see a lot of discrepancies in build quality the way I do in Corvettes. That's all.
Okay. That's a bummer. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, but the powertrain guys know what the fuck they're doing. That Camaro ZL1 1LE was the shit.
Yeah, they do. And the
Was
chassis guys know what
fast.
they're doing too.
Yeah.
The chassis engineering is great.
Yeah, those cars are real crazy fast. Yeah.
Someone asked how my bushings are.
How are your bushings?
They're great. Took them, Canyons today. I can feel everything in the ground, but it does feel more solid. It made my shifting better. Shifter feel was better. Nothing clunks around. Like, they're good. And it's so
Sweet.
comfortable on the street.
Sweet.
It's fine.
Are they
put-
poly bushings or Delrin or something?
They're poly bushings, and they're like 2 notches above their street bushing. But they were trying to talk me into the race ones back when we did this, and I was like, no,
yeah.
no,
Not a race car.
not a race car.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad I did that because people were like, some people have race bushings like, I drive it on the street if the windows are down and the stereo's on. I don't hear it. That's not a way to own a car.
No. My the 911 when I first picked it up in Santa Cruz, I guess it really hadn't been driven much. The major service was done in April, and that was 300 miles ago. So it really hadn't been driven much over the summer or whatever. And it was a little creaky at the front end. It was like, you'd hit a speed bump, and after 1,000 miles or so driving over the last week, it was gone. It's like whatever. It's like lubed itself up or whatever happens. And the bad bushings are not bad, as it turns out. They just needed to be fucking worked out a little bit.
It had a little rub on, what was it, left-hand turn of the brake?
Yeah, I think with the 17-inch wheels, I haven't looked up what the tire is supposed to be versus what. If you're braking and turning right and you hit a bump at the same time, you definitely get a little bit of rub in the front left, which is frustrating because I fucking hate rub. But whatever that is, it'll be sorted out with a fucking 4-inch lift.
Yeah.
And BFG all-terrains.
No tire rub after that.
Yeah. No. Other than that,
That's
man,
gonna be
that
sick.
fucking 911, God, did I get lucky. I mean, that
Real
car
clean.
is, because those pictures were so terrible, that car is a lot cheaper, or was a lot cheaper than it really should have been.
Very clean.
It
Paint
was-
looks perfect.
I looked at 2 other cars. The funny thing about people being like, you can't do that. That car's too nice. Whatever. Look at that ugly Jeep going by. People were like, that car's too. I looked at a couple of quote project grade cars that were like, Lee suggested a black car so we wouldn't have to paint the engine bay and we can paint the rest of it, whatever. Like, I looked at a black one and it was beat. Compared to my car, it was super beat. And it was $7,000 more than my car. And I offered him what I thought it was worth, which was a few thousand less than this car. And he came down a little bit, but it was still more expensive. And then I looked at another one that was red, and like he wanted more than this. Like, so it's like I'm not sure I could get any kind of decent, non-rusted, running, serviced G50 car for less than this. Just because the color didn't turn,
Yeah, color totally sells or doesn't sell
Yeah,
cars. Like,
yeah.
how many yellow M3s are there for sale?
I
for
looked
less?
at it and went, I could paint over that.
Right. If you can do that, I mean, black and silver BMWs are always the cheapest ones because there's
Yeah.
tons of them out there,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's it's not that interesting.
Well, that's interesting is a appropriate word because it's interesting, but has it added value? Spike said to me that Porsche people love a fucking purple Porsche until it comes time to buying one.
Right.
And then Porsche purple is like fucking poison.
Imola yellow or
Yeah.
whatever it was on the M3s, like it
Yeah.
looks like vomit, but everyone
Yeah.
goes, no, it's awesome. Like, would you own that and
Yeah.
drive it every day? No.
Yeah.
It shows all the curves of the body, but
Yeah.
that's the only reason it's there, I think.
Yeah. So I think everyone wants to have a friend that has a purple Porsche. No one actually wants to have
Matt,
one.
leave it purple.
I'm gonna leave it purple. We're gonna wrap over it.
You're my
but
friend.
We're gonna wrap over it, but it's gonna we're gonna wrap over it in a wrap that matches the red themed interior, possibly pink pig, maybe the butcher shop, maybe.
Be funny.
I mean, it would be funny.
Be very funny.
It would be funny. I don't know. We'll figure it out. The point is, it's fun,
It's fun. And it's going to be funner.
and ultimately, it's mine.
More
If
fun.
I want to paint it, I'm gonna fucking paint it.
Yeah.
If I don't want to
Who
paint
cares?
it,
It's a car.
who cares? It's
You-
just a car.
You can't do that.
There
Then
are
you buy
many
it.
like it, but this one is mine.
Yeah.
What else do we have before we finish this up?
That was all
Anything
the
else? That was
questions.
it?
That was it.
That was all. Anything wanted to know?
In 1 hour's notice, yes.
That's true. We didn't really do a good job of advancing it. Is there anything else happening in the world? I'm going to Denton, Texas tomorrow. Look at this. I'm going to tell you the cars I'm supposed to drive, and I don't want to set expectations beyond where they should be because people need to understand that sometimes cars break or cancel. So if I read this list of the cars, the hilarious cars I'm supposed to drive tomorrow in Texas, it's a funny list. But if one of them doesn't happen, don't give me too much shit. Ford Focus RS Mark III. That's the one we couldn't get here, the 5-cylinder one, which someone has brought up from Mexico. Ferrari 308 turbocharged. Interesting.
Yeah.
Toyota MR2, 872 wheel horsepower. Seems safe. Yeah, yeah.
Which one?
Which what?
Which generation MR2?
I believe that is a first generation MR2.
Wow.
I think from what I'm told, it's sketchy as can be. Callaway twin turbo C4 Corvette.
Oh, boy.
Been waiting for one of those. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Mark III Supra. I just wrote big power, but I'm not really sure what it.
That'd be very
what that is.
interesting.
350 horsepower modified Lotus Esprit SE, which is the 4-cylinder Lotus Esprit with a bigger turbo on it.
Okay.
Interesting. Supercharged Porsche 928.
Cool.
Interesting and weird also.
Yeah.
So that's the list
Cool.
of the things I'm supposed to drive at a track. They've gotten me a racetrack.
That's awesome.
It's called Eagle Canyon Raceway, and it looks a lot like Harris Hill.
Oh,
Remember
right.
Harris Hill?
Yeah.
It looks a little bumpy,
Yep.
but it looks like it's surrounded by cornfields, and there's not much to hit. Did you
cool.
find it? Yeah, there it is. Give us a little aerial view up there, Tim. I see an aerial view there. Is that big enough? That's it.
Show us the top, Tim. Show us the top a little bit.
It's like Texas's Sebring.
Yeah, it
Actually does kind of remind me of
because
Sebring.
that that really light concrete.
It has that light concrete, and it's a little patchworky.
Some really long sweeper looking things.
There's a lot of double apexes, actually.
Yeah.
I can see 1,
Yep.
2, 3, 4 double apexes in this configuration.
No S's to be seen.
But I'm actually, what the thing about these cars are, like, I'm not necessarily sure. I don't want to disappoint someone by, like, having a racetrack and not, like, pushing a car. Like, I'm really using a racetrack as, like, look at the area around this place. Like, there's no roads with corners in them. You know what I mean? Like, there's no anything around. So it's a racetrack is really, to me, for these cars, is just a road that has corners in it where I won't get arrested or bothered.
Totally.
You know, these cars that are, even despite us having a racetrack, I don't think any of these are actually track cars I think most of them are street cars. So we'll see.
Especially with 800 horsepower, hundreds and hundreds,
Fuck me,
then you can
who
actually like, I don't know, really feel it out in a safe, controlled environment.
Yeah, it looks like it's surrounded by grass. Nothing to see.
That's cool.
So that's where I'm
That
going
was some
tomorrow
nice
morning.
stuff. I'm very
Should be
curious how
interesting.
a Mark III Supra feels. I remember, I think Freddie was trying to talk me into buying one. I'm glad I didn't. But
They are very
you know,
80s.
yeah, they're super 80s
They're
looking.
very 80s. You know what? All those other 80s Toyotas, like the Corolla and the boxy Camry from the 80s, those cars look flimsy and shitty and terrible, but you drive them and they're not.
Yeah,
My friend Mike Zimmerman had an 86 Corolla. That's a Mark III Supra. That's a nice one.
that's very nice.
My friend Mike Zimmerman had an 86 Corolla that was absolutely unkillable and fucking tough as an ox. It was great.
Like building one of those, for track work, it would probably be a totally fine car. Just I wasn't wanting
just
to
get
do
a
that.
C5 Corvette. Call it a day. What are you doing with this fucking
Oh,
thing?
different. It's got a 1JZ in it, I think, so it's kind of fun.
For a track work, you don't want to be different. For a track work, you want basic works.
That's a
you
great.
know.
That's a great motto.
Yeah, you don't want to be different. The guy who's different is the guy who's underneath his car wrenching a grid life instead
true.
of drinking.
Right, but you also
They're
want
different.
you also
Really?
like being
I'll
different.
be on the track. See you later. Enjoy getting your hand in that hot piece of different.
Everybody wants to be unique, but have it work. That's the
Yeah.
problem,
No, that's the problem. You got to pick. You got to pick the two.
yeah.
If you have a unique car that works properly.
Unique, fast, reliable. It's like pick two. I'm gonna sign up for the Corvette School at Spring Mountain.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Really?
To do a 3-day school.
Really?
Mhm.
Does it come with the condo?
Uh,
Can you
strangely,
get
the 2-day school they offered the condo. The 3-day you get like a hotel discount. There's
Really?
probably just like an
I'll
incentive
try and
thing
get
you're
the
trying to do.
condo. Is it
Doesn't
like the
matter.
Z06 school?
It's not you can do Z06s are optional, so if you want to pay more money
Oh,
for it, but
okay.
it's just like it's C7. So
What's
that's fine.
it's the advanced driving school?
It's level 1
What are you
is
doing
3-day.
level 1 for?
Level advanced driving, you either need to have a racing license or have
You
done level
already
1.
have a
Yeah.
license to do level? Really?
Mhm.
Do you get a license with the one you're doing?
I don't believe so.
Really? Is there a way to get a license?
Through
there's
them, probably through them.
If there's
I
an
just looked
extra
at 1 and
day,
2.
if you can do a 4th day where it's a licensing, that would be awesome.
I think like Bondurant did that with their 4-day
Yeah.
school, but which was more expensive than this one. This is actually a very good price compared to other
This
schools.
is the Ron Fellows School,
Yeah.
right? Is that what they're calling it still?
Yeah, still Ron Fellows.
Is Rick Malone still the guy out? He is,
I don't
right?
know.
He was when we
I
were
mean,
there
he-
for Drive.
My contact through that was a guy named Todd.
Oh, Todd Crutcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Rick Malone's like the head instructor. The guy's a gangster.
Oh,
Yeah, he's great.
then he'll probably be there, but
Oh.
he doesn't have to deal with scheduling and shit. So he
No.
doesn't talk to me.
He like scares you in a van and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, it's
He
like
does
their
what you
3-day
follow.
school is the same price as the Thermal's BMW 2-day school.
Oh, really?
So it's like,
Oh.
and this is, I don't know, more geared towards like, I don't know, 3 days is just better than 2. It's real easy.
Yeah. I think the first day will probably be real easy for you. I
Probably.
think the first day is like heel towing and stuff like that. But
Probably. Oh well.
whatever.
Work on fundamentals and then.
I'm
work
sure
out,
you'll
I don't know.
get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Those schools they're like very, very helpful. If
Yeah,
you
I've never
really-
done one before.
Oh, yeah,
I've
if
only
you
done
use if
the
you-
drift and like the firm rally stuff as far as
Yeah,
schools
those
go.
are definitely that's more just taking a private lesson than an
Yeah.
actual. The schools they're good. They're
Yeah,
good.
cool.
Yeah. And if you are one of the better drivers, like you will be the best top 5% of drivers in a basic school, in any basic school. And like they'll recognize that and they'll try to minimize your level of annoyance and be like, "Okay, in this one you work on this cuz you clearly know how to heel toe, so you work on, hitting this and this."
Okay,
So
cool.
they'll figure it out. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, that'll be
It'll
super
good.
cool.
Work on fundamentals and stuff.
And Spring Mountain's such a good learning track. There's
Yeah.
so many different kinds of corners to learn. You can drive so many different configurations and the skid pad and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's dope.
they've got a lot of nice stuff there. It's like runoff. I don't know. It doesn't feel like a place where you're like, watch out for this wall next to this grass.
Nah, it's easy.
So-
Yeah, it's easy.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, and a Corvette is like the right amount of power and stuff for that track.
Yeah.
It's a good. You don't need the 800 horsepower in that track.
No, I bet people that show up and get the Z06, if they're
That's
doing
a
it
lot.
just
That's
the
too
experience,
much.
that's a lot.
That's too much car for
That's
that.
a lot of
That
car.
TTRS for the drive thing was
Mhm.
like the exact perfect amount of car for that racetrack. It was like 400 horsepower, right
Yeah.
on.
That thing was
Perfect.
hustling.
Yeah. Is that a show? I feel like that's a show. Is that a show?
So?
Sure.
I think
Does
that's
it feel like a show?
It feels like showtime.
I feel like if we kept going, it would be like forced and shitty. I don't want to give
We'd be reaching.
these people forced and shitty.
Then I
It's a
think
then
we should
that's a show.
Call it game.
That's a show. All right, folks. Smoking Tire Podcast. There it is. Powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. All you need is some way to access the intranets and something to turn voice into computer signals.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, did I make that sound complicated.
Yeah.
Microphone, computer, internet, or even cell phone.
You need an electronic device that detects vibrations and then transmits it to a computer chip and then outputs it as an audio file.
Mm-hmm.
Microphone.
And then you need some kind of system to connect bytes of data in the millions to the worldwide
like an
web.
electronic carrier pigeon.
Exactly.
Shit.
See, like I said, one more minute and we'd be straight off the fucking rails. Thanks, guys. See you next week.